Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students. This is Umaira Saeed, lecturer, Times English, Times Institute, Multan. So today we are going to discuss the reading skill, and this lecture is particular for the students of English language, comprehension and composition. And I hope that you would have pen and paper in your hand to note the important points. Now starting with the reading skills. What is reading? The main question. Reading is basically a decoding process. And 22% of our daily life is highly dedicated to the reading of newspaper, books, novels, sometimes the reading of the cooking books, sometimes the course books, sometimes the dictionary and the directories. But there are 4 language skills as well. So discuss the 4 language skills first. Reading, writing, listening and speaking. And students say these 4 language skills are divided into 2 groups, the active skills and the passive skills. Active skills are speaking and writing, and the passive skills are listening and reading. Now your question will be, why reading is a passive skill? The passive skill because we are dependent upon the other person to read what he have written. Those who are speaking and those who are writing, they are actually participating, they are imparting their ideas. But those who are reading and those who are listening, they are dependent upon the other persons, the material being provided from them. Suppose I am speaking and you are listening. I am actively participating and you are passively bound to listen what I am speaking. So this is said to be the reading. Reading is the psycholinguistic activity. Reading is to study under the stimulus of the printed page. Why do we study? For the sake of pleasure, for the sake of information. So there are 4 basic type of reading. The purposes which should be mentioned are, we study for the sake of understanding. Why do you study? Why you are listening to my lecture? Because you want to understand the particular topic. So we read the books so that we may understand the written material. Pleasure. Most of the people read the book for the sake of pleasure, because many of the students and many of the people feel that the novel is the best time pass. Many of them prefer to read the poetry books, many of them prefer to read the drama books, many of them prefer to read the newspaper for the sake of pleasure and the time pass as well. The third is the practical application. There are so many subjects and the bits which are very much important to practically applicable after reading, like those who are dealing with the medical profession, engineers and the computer science subjects. The fourth one is the critical evaluation. It is particular for the research purposes, like we cannot critically evaluate the other ones if we do not have a command over the reading of the subject. The next important thing is the types of reading. There are basically 4 types of the reading: skimming, scanning, intensive reading and extensive reading. Although in the coming lectures we will discuss all these 4 types of the readings in detail, but let me give you the crux and the glimpse of that. The skimming. The skimming is to get the running your eyes quickly over the text to get the main ideas. Like if I give you the 2 pages with 200 words, and if I give you to give the skim reading of that, so while taking out the main idea, you may read those 2 pages in 50 seconds. Scanning. Scanning is to get the main idea, like how do you get your number from your mobile dictionary, from your mobile directory. This is said to be the example of scanning. Scanning means to get the particular information. So you do not have to move from one page to another page to get the important information. You just open the particular number and then you find the information. Suppose I give you an example of that. Open your dictionary and give me the meaning of clamorous. So how would you find out the meaning of clamorous? By moving from one page to another page of the dictionary? No, you just move on the top header, you find out CLA and then you find out the meanings of clamorous in the dictionary. The third one is the intensive reading. As the word is very obvious, intensive, intensity is required, when you have to dance into some subject. Intensive reading means when you have to study for the sake of information. It is said to be close reading. It is usually done in the classroom. Some guidance is required. So intensive reading is always done under the supervision of your tutor or lecturer or your preceptor. The fourth is the extensive reading. Extensive reading is generally done for the sake of pleasure. Now, advantages and according to the disadvantages, the main points are that extensive reading is usually done outside the classroom, like moving in the train or like traveling from one place to another place. You may read the books or the magazines, so you are not just for the sake of pleasure, you are reading the newspaper and the novels by having an earphone in your ear. So, this is said to be the extensive reading. Now student, one of the most important topic is the faulty reading habits. You, me, most of us are indulged in many of the faulty reading habits. What are those faulty reading habits? Let's figure out that. Head movement. You remember, and those students who are already in contact with me, who have already listened to my lectures, that there are the head movements is said to be in the faulty reading habits. How? Many of you, when they read the books, they start move their heads. The more their head moves, the more they read. So it also affect on your eyesight. The next is the finger movement. Many of you used to rub your finger over the lines of the pages so that they may get the main idea. The more your finger is moving on the paper, the more your reading is coming. It means that your speed is highly dependent upon your finger movement. The more this finger moves, the more your speed will increase. So this is the faulty reading habit. The third is the regression. Regression is the backward eye movement, like you are on the page number 2 but your finger is on the page number 1. So it also decreases your speed, not only speed of reading but your speed of learning as well. The fourth one is the vocalization. Vocalization is to speak with the louder voice, to learn something by heart but with the louder voice. Like jokes apart, like in the junior classes when the teachers enter into the class, they start vocalizing like good morning teacher, and they set in so rhyming scheme. So what happens? Their speed becomes slow but their voice becomes so high. So that is why it has been said that the vocalization and increasing your voice sometimes lowers your speed of reading. Sub-vocalization. Sub-vocalization means that when you muttering or murmuring in your words, like you are speaking but you are speaking with slow speed that even not you are understanding, even not the person who are on the other side is understanding what you are saying. I am speaking little loud, but those who used to speak within the mouth or within the lips is said to be the sub-vocalization, and it usually reduces the speed of your reading, because the speed of reading depends and varies from person to the person. Some are the poor readers, some are the good readers, some are the average readers, some are the excellent readers, and few are the skimmed readers. And those are successful who are the skimmed reader, because in the skimming process you may read so many things in a few possible circulated time. Now the question is how to overcome these faulty habits. You can overcome these faulty habits by making a little practice and the little efforts. What are these? Avoid these faulty habits. Like when you start reading the books, do not move your head, do not rub your finger, do not go for the vocalization, do not read your words with the sub-vocalization tone, but read in a very normal way. Do not move your head from here to there, like do not pendule your head, do not rub your finger. It will not only reduce your these efforts, physical efforts, but it also increase your reading speed. The second is reading regularly. My dear students, if you read on the regular basis, it will not only increase your reading speed, but it will increase your knowledge as well. Like most of the people who have the broadening knowledge on every subject, like those people who have the command over everything, they have more reading. Shashi Tharoor is one of the famous politician of India. He has read 2,000 to 5,000 books, and he is said to be the man of vocabulary. The reason is that he has intensive reading. So if you want to go for the better language, if you want to have more knowledge, then do read your books and do read on the regular basis. Vocabulary. Vocabulary is very much important for polishing your skills, for the polishing of your language. How can you increase your vocabulary? By reading the books, by reading the newspaper. I may not suggest you the particular newspaper. There are so many e-newspaper available. There are so many Pakistani newspaper, English newspapers are available. You may read those newspapers on the regular basis and increase your vocabulary. Let me give you a very simple tip and simple suggestion. Many people say that if you have a vocabulary of 50 to 100 words, you can speak English in a very fluent way. If you have a vocabulary of 300 English words, you may write an essay, like you may write an essay for the competitive exams. And if you have a vocabulary of 700 to 1000 words, so you may write a book. It means that you only need 50 to 100 vocabulary words, English vocabulary words, so that you may speak fluently on any platform. The last one is the broadening of the knowledge. The more you listen, the more you speak. The more you read, the more you speak. So it means the more you read, the more you listen, the more you speak, and the more you write. So your writing and your speaking is highly dependent upon your reading. So it is a highly suggestion to every one of you that instead of your course book, better to read other books that will enhance your knowledge, and it will be very helpful for the drawing room discussion as well. So this was the topic for the reading skill, and the notes will be provided in your WhatsApp group. See you with the next lecture, inshallah. Allah Hafiz.